Hello traders, FXPIPCOLLECTOR here. Today is Monday, June 12th, and welcome to today's live stream. Thanks for coming. Definitely don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. It makes a big difference to push my channel out to new people on YouTube. So, as usual, we're going to start off by looking at the DXY US dollar index. We're going to do our full top-down analysis all the way from the monthly down to the 1 hour time frame on the dollar index. Then we're going to apply all that information and apply it to all the other dollar pairs, including gold. We're going to use the information we learned on the dollar index to help us take trades on all the other US dollar pairs. Just like if I was going to trade any of the yen pairs, I would be using the yen index to help me trade all the yen pairs. So let's get started right away. Before we do get started, definitely, if you have not done so already, join my free Discord channel. It's 100% free to join. You do not have to pay a dime if you do not want to. So definitely check that out. 100% free to join, and we currently have 3,442 members. So it's getting to be a very large community of like-minded traders. So definitely check that out. Link is in the chats and in the description. Hey Chrissy, how's it going? Hey Odin, how are you doing today? Nice to see you. Thanks for coming. So let's start off with our DXY, and let's zoom out a little bit because I do like to get the bigger picture on this. So one thing that's important is we have a lower high, and then another really important factor is that we got an uptrend followed by a very clear three-way pullback followed by another very clear uptrend. We have an impulsive move down at these fib levels. We have a break of structure to the downside. All those things added up tell me that there's a very good likelihood this is the end of an ABC correction and that this is going to start making its way down, trending, making lower lows, lower highs, and continuing on down. So let's keep that in mind. Let's keep on going down. Like I said, we're doing our full top-down analysis on the dollar index. Now, I still have this marked as possibly being an AB, even though I think it is a 1-2. But I think this is where you can see the downtrend for the 1. You can see the ABC up for what I think is a wave 2. And you can see also that there's a very good likelihood that the wave 2 is over right at the 38% Fibonacci level, and that we are probably now getting ready to go down for a wave 3. Now, before we move on any further, we really do have to keep in mind at all times big news events for the US dollar. This is a really big news week for the dollar. Today is definitely very slow. All we have is that 10-year bonds. But starting tomorrow, we got CPI for the dollar. Then on Wednesday, we got FOMC statement for the dollar. Then on Thursday, we have retail sales for the dollar and unemployment claims. And we got Fed manufacturing index. And we got a bunch of Euro news also. So we have, and on Friday we got consumer sentiment. This is a really, really big week for the US dollar. So we're gonna, I would say by the end of the week, we're definitely gonna know a direction whether or not this really is the end of a correction or not. But as of right now, it definitely has a very impulsive move down at a Fibonacci level. It has, first of all, impulsive down. It has 3 counter trend waves. Then it has impulsive down at a Fibonacci level. So if we forgot about the fact that we have all this news coming out next week, I would say that that is definitely, or this week, that is definitely the end of a correction and that we are already into a new downtrend. I think it's more likely to be a 1-2, but it could be an AB. So keeping that in mind, let's head down to the daily time frame. So on the daily time frame, now you can actually start to see some of these trends. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down. I think it's a 1. Then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up. It looks like a wave A. This is definitely an A, B, C of B, I believe. And I think that this right here is a complete trend. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 wave down uptrend for what I think is an ABC of 2. Now, yes, this is a lower high, and like I've been saying for about 2 weeks now, there's still a possibility this is a 1, this is a 2, and that it goes up and makes like a 3, 4, 5 of C. If it did do something like that, that would actually be a completely normal looking pattern. Definitely would not surprise me at all if that is what happens. But with how impulsive this is on the US dollar to the downside, and the fact that we definitely got the end of a trend, I do think there is a good likelihood the wave C is already over and that we are already going down, end of a wave 2 and the beginning of a wave 3. So let's head down to the 4 hour time frame. So on the 4-hour time frame is where we can start to see this downtrend. I think it's more likely a 1. I think this is an A. This is very clearly 3 ways down. Looks like a B. And this looks to me like a wave C. Then we have this downtrend right here, which, even though we are turning up right now, even if it does go up and break structure, I think it's just going to be a correction to this move down. I think whatever happens over the next 24 hours is definitely just going to be setting itself up for the news that we have tomorrow, the CPI news. So if this actually does spend the rest of the day, next 24 hours in a correction, that would actually be a much clearer pattern, and it would give me a lot of confidence that the dollar is going to go down at the news, and that this really is a 1, this is a 2, and this is a wave 3. So like I said, whatever's happening now is definitely setting itself up for the news later on this week. Now, one thing we have to notice on the US dollar is that we definitely made 3 waves down right here. So I'm actually starting to think that this is actually a wave A, this is an irregular wave B, and this move up actually may actually go up and break structure, and it could be the wave C. And then if it goes up, breaks structure to the downside, takes out structure, and heads back down at tomorrow's CPI news, that's what will tell us that we have the end of a correction and the continuation of the downtrend. What really gives it away to me is the fact that it made a very clear 3 waves to the downside right there, telling me that that most likely is an ABC correction. And even if it is a lower high, then it probably is an irregular wave B, which I would, if you look it up in the Elliott Wave book, an irregular wave B is what they call an irregular top or an irregular bottom. I think that's what we have here, and I think we're probably now going up for a wave C. This is probably an A, this is probably a B, and I bet this is going to trend up until tomorrow's news, and then I bet it's going to end up going back down. So now that we have that kind of figured out, we really don't even have any break of structure up yet, so we don't even know for sure if that is the case. But now that we have that figured out, that the US dollar is probably going to be in an uptrend until tomorrow, we can apply that information to all these other US dollar pairs and see if we can figure out what is the most likely thing to happen on them pairs. So let's go down to the euro dollar, head back up to the daily time frame. Euro dollar is definitely much weaker to the upside than some of these other dollar pairs, but I think it's still a downtrend back here for an A. I still think this is 3 waves up for a B, and I still think this is a downtrend for a C. I still think that this needs to go up further, even if it is a correction to this move down, which it could be. It still needs to go up to one of these higher Fibonacci levels. And then if it does make a big bounce at one of those fib levels, then that would tell us it's going back down. But really, at this point, I do think that this may be the end of a correction, and that this may now be trending up. Just like I said, we need to apply the information we learned by analyzing the dollar index to all these dollar pairs. So let's keep that in mind. Let's keep going down to the 4-hour time frame. 4-hour time frame, this is definitely starting to turn down a little, so we definitely want to keep an eye on this. It for sure could be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but even though it does kind of resemble A, B, and C, I don't really think that is what it is, because we didn't even make it up to the 38% Fibonacci level. I still think there's a very good chance this is going to make its way up and probably end up continuing the uptrend. So let's go down to the 1-hour time frame. So 1-hour time frame, we have to look at this at a few different perspectives. We were thinking that the dollar may end up going up until tomorrow, but really there's been no break of structure to the downside, so this right here could very easily be a correction to this wave up. I think there's a good chance that it may make a higher low, and just keep on trending up. So we do have that big news. Like I said, this is a very big week for the dollar. We're going to have a lot of news this week. We're going to have a lot of volatility. So definitely trade with caution this week if you're talking about the US dollar pairs, for sure. So really probably the best bet right now would be to take your Fibonacci retracement and put it on here, and then look for a reversal at a Fibonacci level. So we really only want to see this on like the 1 hour. So if this does go down to one of these fib levels and make an impulsive turn back up to the upside, I would definitely take that as a long opportunity, because on the higher time frames it does look like this needs to go up at least to the 38 or maybe even the 50 to finish off this move. So let's keep that in mind. Let's move on to the pound dollar. Pound dollar is definitely making a nice move to the downside also. Now the pound dollar did make a little bit of a 3-way pattern up right here, so we had to be careful. There is definitely, sorry about that. Let me fix that right away, sorry. So we're all set now, Holly. Sorry about that. So anyways, the pound dollar definitely did make a move to the upside, 3 waves up, and it definitely did make a little bit of a 78% bounce. But I still think it is more likely that it is going to end up continuing the uptrend based on my longer time frames. So going down to the 4-hour time frame, we do have a little bit of a break of structure right here. It definitely has not closed below structure, but that may end up, if it does close below structure, telling us that this uptrend right here is complete. That means that this move down may be an A, it may now make a B, and then go down and make a C. Then at the end of that ABC correction, I think it's going to end up continuing the uptrend. So let's head down to the 1-hour time frame. 1-hour time frame, we definitely do have a pretty good move to the downside, and it does look like a 1, 2, 3, maybe 4, 5 shape right there. We do have a little bit of a break of structure down. I still think that whatever happens today is just setting itself up for the news tomorrow. I think this is more likely to make a correction over the next 24 hours, and then tomorrow it will, I believe, end up continuing the uptrend. So let's keep all this in mind. Let's keep on moving down to the pound dollar, head up to the daily time frame. So the pound dollar, I think, is the Aussie dollar. The Aussie dollar, I think, is very clear also that we have a downtrend right here, wave A. We have 1, 2, 3 waves up, A, B, C, or B, and we have a downtrend. Looks like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of C. Impulsive up, break of structure. I believe this is the end of that pattern, which at this point is starting to look like a W, X, and Y. It looks like 3 waves up, then it looks like very clearly 3 waves down. I bet this is now going to make 3 waves up again, probably at least all the way up to the 100 or maybe the 123 area to finish off a WXY pattern. So let's take it down to the 4-hour time frame. This one has been very, very strong to the upside, but first of all, the thing you need to notice is this downtrend. I think it's a wave C. Impulsive up, break of structure proved that this whole trend is over, and because we believed that it was a wave C, that told us that the whole ABC correction that we saw on the daily was over. As you can see, we are definitely trending up, making higher highs, higher lows ever since then. We are going down a little bit now, but really our last structure level is right here, so most likely this move down is only going to be a correction to this last move up. I think that today the dollar is probably going to end up going up a little, but that move up is going to be a correction, and this is probably going to end up going down a little, but that move down is probably going to be a correction also, and I think tomorrow's CPI news is going to cause this to continue the uptrend. So taking it down to the 1-hour time frame, 1-hour time frame really hasn't even gone down that much. It does look like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right there. So now we're probably going to make a correction to this move. It's probably going to make 3 waves down, impulsive up. If we see 3 waves down, impulsive up, we see a higher low, higher low. I would definitely take that as a long opportunity for the continuation of this uptrend. So higher time frames are definitely telling us the trend is up. Shorter time frames are definitely just going to continue to look for longs at the end of ABC pullbacks. So the Kiwi dollar, the Kiwi has been very weak in a way, so it doesn't surprise me that this one is making a bigger move down, but it's very, very similar to the Aussie, as in we have 3 waves up, looks like a 3-way pattern, then we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of A, we have a B, C, a B, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of C. This one also looks like it has a complete W and a 3-way pattern for X. I think that this will also end up continuing the uptrend, probably making another 3-way pattern, like another A, B, and C, probably an A, B, C of W. I think this is both the Aussie and the Kiwi are both making those W, X, Y patterns on like the weekly and daily time frames. So let's take it down to the 4-hour time frame. 4-hour time frame, now we definitely do have impulsive up. We have a break of structure proving this whole move down is over. It definitely is a little bit of a 3-way pattern right now, which may trick a lot of people into thinking that it's an ABC, which it definitely could be. I'm not eliminating that possibility at all, but it still seems to me like this move down is going to be more likely a correction to this move up, and I still think that it's more likely this will end up continuing the uptrend, most likely at tomorrow's news. So really the best thing to do on these sort of time frames would be sticking your Fibonacci, measuring this whole move to the upside, Maybe move it over a little bit more. That is a very impulsive turn down, but I think it is very likely a wave A. I think this is going to go up and make a correction at some point today for a B. Probably back down tomorrow throughout the London session, Asian session for a C. Then most likely bounce off one of these fib levels at tomorrow's CPI and end up continuing the uptrend. So just like the other ones, the dollar is going up and this one's going down, but I think this move down is going to be nothing more than a correction to this uptrend right here. Which really, this is probably like a 1-2 in here someplace and a 3-4-5 right there. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate that. Definitely. So let's go check out the US dollar CAD, which is starting to turn up a little bit also. Which I think the fact that these are all turning up today is actually making it even more clear that tomorrow's news probably will cause this to end up going down more. Now, this right here, we almost do have to go out to the weekly to see it, but it does look to me like we have a complete 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pattern, and that we have a lower high for the wave 5, which is actually very common. And then this is probably a 1, this is probably a 2, and I bet this is going to keep going down for a wave 3. So if that's true, then we need to keep that in mind as we go down. So now we can see the big A, B, C of 4, and we can see the uptrend for the 5. Then we definitely have a downtrend right there. I think that's a 1. I think this is an A, B, C, wave 2, and I think this is now going to just keep on shutting down, making lower lows, lower highs for a wave 3. So let's keep going down to the 4-hour time frame. 4-hour time frame, really our last major structure levels right here, which there is definitely a chance it could take that out. But I think even if it does take that out, it's just going to be a correction, probably a correction to this last move down, and most likely will end up continuing the downtrend. Like I said, we do have big news this week. Our most recent news to worry about is tomorrow at 1:30 p.m. UK time or 8:30 a.m. New York time. We got that CPI news, inflation data. So definitely gonna be a pretty good week. So we need to pay attention though, because these big news events are when major turns happen, and if we are incorrect about the dollar going down, then that's absolutely okay with me, but I will have no problem changing my analysis. Like I said, it very easily could be a 1-2. This very easily could be a 1-2, and then it goes up and makes a 3-4-5, which would be a completely normal looking pattern if that is what it does. Even though I do think it is going to just keep on going down, if it does turn up in a big way, we'll recognize that and we'll be able to trade accordingly. So now let's go back to the US dollar Canadian and go back down to the 4-hour, which we were just at. Go down to the 1-hour. Now 1-hour time frame, most likely this move up is going to be a wave A. Most likely it's going to make a wave B and then back up for a wave C. Then I think we'll have an impulsive move down, we'll have a breakup structure, and most likely the continuation of the downtrend. So I think that we are going up, but I think that move up is just going to be a correction. I think it's just setting itself up for tomorrow's news. Wow, that one's going up really strong. That must be because of the Swiss, though. We can tell almost instantly. Oh yeah, look at that. All the Swiss pairs are moving. So that's definitely a Swiss move on the US dollar Swiss right there. As you can see, we got a little bit of dollar strength and a little bit of Swiss weakness causing that. Let's go up to the daily. That actually makes a lot of sense though, because it seems like it needs to go up and touch this level, and then I think tomorrow it'll go down like that. It'll break structure, proving that this correction to this move down is over. This is like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, probably A, B, C up. I bet it's going to respect that 50% level again, and I bet it's going to end up continuing the downtrend. So let's take it down to the 4-hour time frame. Let's keep those fib levels that we just saw on the sort of time frames though, so we can see that. So going down to the 4-hour time frame, we may as well get rid of that because you can see very clearly that that's not a correction. So this here is probably all a wave A, I bet. I think this is probably an A also, a B, 3 waves up for the B, a B, downtrend for the C, a B. Now I bet we're in a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of C. I bet it's going to bounce off this fib level, go down, take out structure, and most likely end up continuing the downtrend at tomorrow's CPI news. Like I said, the fact that all these things are going up right now does make me even more confident that tomorrow's CPI will cause it to go down. That right there would have been a very, very profitable trade though if we would have got in this one. I definitely didn't see this at the time, but as you can see, it's definitely a 1-2, and we're currently in a wave 3. I think we're going up, probably like this, probably finish off a 3, 4, and 5 over the next 24 hours. Then at tomorrow's news, I bet it'll go down, take out structure, proving that we have the end of a trend. I bet that trend's a wave C. I bet this is an A. I bet that's a big A, B, C, or B. And then it'll end up continuing the downtrend. So, definitely a pretty strong move on these pairs, big time. The dollar's definitely moving pretty strong too. I think that, like I said, I think it's definitely setting itself up for the news tomorrow, but it looks pretty strong right now. There's no doubt about that. So we're going to have to keep an eye on those things, see what's going on there. So let's keep going down to the US dollar yen, which the US dollar yen does make sense that it's going back up also. Because just like the US dollar Swiss, I think this one needs to go up probably to the 61.8, and then I think it's going to turn down. So I think this is probably an ABC correction to this last move down. I still think this is a 1. I still think this is an ABC of 2, and I still think it's going to go down for a wave 3. So let's head down to the 4-hour time frame. 4-hour time frame, it's very clear this is an A, this is 3 waves up for a B, this is a downtrend for the C. I think this is now probably going up to finish off this wave C. Probably a wave 5 of C. This is probably going to be a 3, 4, 5 of wave C, I bet. So I think this is going to be the final attempt to continue the uptrend on the US dollar yen. So going down to the 1-hour time frame, we had actually a very clear 1, 2, 3 waves down, then impulsive up. This is probably a 1. This is probably not even close to being over. It's probably going to end up looking something like that for a 3, a 4, and a wave 5. So definitely a pretty big move over today, especially considering we really don't have any news today. Let's see if there was any unexpected news today. There we go. So what do we got? 34 minutes ago, JP Morgan Chase reaches settlement. That probably didn't do it. Yeah, I don't really see anything too important here. Wage focus, yeah, I don't really see anything too important for the dollar right there. So it's probably just moving because of the market knows what's going to happen tomorrow. So what do we see here? Wow, that definitely looks like the gold is going down too. Probably a final attempt to continue the downtrend. Let's get rid of that. It's a little too much to see on the daily. So I think that this is also on gold. I think this is an A. I think this is 3 waves up for a B, and I think this is all part of a downtrend for a wave C. I think it's going to continue to respect this level. I think even if it does go down, it's probably just going to make a triple bottom, and I think that it will end up continuing the uptrend. So let's head down to the 4-hour time frame. So 4-hour time frame, I was thinking this was a wave 2, but it's looking pretty strong. Let's see what happens with this. It definitely looks to me like a 1, 2. This looks like it's all a wave 3. This looks like an ABC of 4, and it did break structure, which tells us that it probably is like a wave 4. And then I was thinking that this was going to be like a 3 wave 5, but it could be like a one more final attempt to make like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves down for the wave 5 of wave C. So we'll have to keep an eye on this. I was thinking that this was like a 1 and this was going to be a 2 and then it was going to go up like that, which still seems pretty likely. So let's take it down to the 1 hour. 1 hour time frame, I got my Fibonacci retracement measuring this move up. I'm still expecting that this move down is going to be a correction. It still looks to me like a trend. It still looks like this is an A. Maybe we just got a little bit of volatility today because everybody knows it's such a big news week. It still seems like an ABC correction, like a 1, a 2. So if this does start to turn back up in a big way, I would definitely take that as a long opportunity. Even though we have news tomorrow, if this starts to turn up, that looks like to me like an ABC correction. We definitely have 3 waves down. It could go down a little further, but if it does start to reject this 61% and go up, or if it does this and then goes up, I would definitely take that as a long opportunity. I do think that this is very, very, very close to ending a wave C if it has not already, especially with this impulsive move up. Looks like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This looks like an ABC. I think it's going to bounce off one of these two fibs and end up continuing the uptrend. So let's see, we just went through all the gold pairs, all the dollar pairs that is. So let's see, what do we got going on now? The Dixie, maybe the Dixie will go up and fill that gap right there. It does seem like the DXY does fill that gaps quite often. So maybe this is going to make like an A, B, and then tomorrow go up and fill that gap, and then I bet back down. I'm still betting on that for sure. So anyways, let's see here. So we looked at all the dollar pairs. Now let's move on and start looking at some other things. Let's go look at these yen pairs. The yen pairs have been very, very good to us over the last month or so, last few months really. And look, they're still going up. Wow. Those things do not want to give up on that downtrend at all. Sometimes we're better off watching these yen pairs than we are watching those dollar pairs. Those dollar pairs can be quite deceiving. So on the daily, it still looks to me like an ABC correction. It still looks like a 1, looks like a 2, and it still looks to me like this needs to go up to make like a 3, 4, 5 on the euro yen. Heading down to the 4-hour time frame is where you can see the end of this correction, and then we have a 1. I think this is a big ABC of 2 right to the 50% level, and I think this is just going to keep on trending up for a wave 3. So I definitely don't see any reason to think that this is over either. And I would definitely continue to look for longs on shorter time frames. We definitely had a three-way pattern down today. We definitely had impulsive up. We had another big move to the downside. Definitely a bull trap. Everybody that was long probably got out right there, and now it's going back up big time. So I don't think that's over. I would definitely be looking for longs in an uptrend there. Pound dollar, same thing. Look at it, it's reversing. It's making that railroad pattern. This is probably now going to just keep on trending up also. What's it look like on the dailies? Oh yeah, this one is bouncing off the 161.8, which is definitely an area of resistance. So this one seems pretty likely to make a correction, which it definitely did. So maybe it's already made that correction, and maybe it's just going to keep on going up. The trend is definitely 100% still up on this. So yeah, let's check that out. It looks like a trend, but it definitely could be like an ABC. Whoops, that's not very good, but an ABC down, respecting these fib levels and end up continuing the uptrend. So all the yen pairs, I would definitely, on every single one of them, I would definitely still be looking for longs in an uptrend for sure. I think we got a little bit of a trap today. A little bit of a bull trap. Aussie yen, I'm definitely still looking for longs. If this makes a three-way pullback, makes an impulsive move up, I would definitely still be going long in the continuation of the uptrend. Kiwi, same thing. I'm definitely looking for longs on this. It looks like it already made a long. Excuse me. This one actually looks more like almost like a perfect 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So maybe this is just a wave A. And this is actually a B, and then it's going to go down and make a C. Yeah, I think so too, Fly Moon. I think this is going to be an ABC correction, and then it's going to end up going back up. So I'm definitely still looking for longs, but I think you're right that it probably is going to make like an A, B, C, and then back up tomorrow. So I think you were right on that one. This US dollar Canadian now, look at that. 1 down, 3 up, 1 down, 38% Fibonacci. Bam, back up it goes. And the Swiss yen. The Swiss has been moving a lot. And the fact that this is already an all-time highs does make you wonder if it's going to make a bigger move down. It looks to me like this is a trend, and this is a correction, and this is now in another trend down. I think this is going to keep going down, but I think it's more that the Swiss is moving this than the yen. Probably down to the 61.8 before it actually goes back up. So I would be looking, I think the Swiss yen is the only one that I'd really be looking for sorts on. I think that if you could sort like a wave B or something on some of these other ones, it might make a good trade, like the pound yen, maybe some of these other ones, but I still would definitely be looking for longs and an uptrend on pretty much all of them except for maybe the Swiss yen. So keep an eye on those ones for sure. So let's see here. Let's move on, and we'll go look at oil, natural gas, and then we're going to look at Bitcoin, and we'll look at the stock market. Ooh, looks like oil. Looks like this is probably not even a wave C, is it? Oil tricking us again a little bit. I was actually wondering about this being an ABC, but it's starting to look like it is. Oh yeah, look at that. Man, I've been going back and forth on this one also, but that's an A, this is probably a B, and this is probably a C. It probably is going back down. It probably is going to go down, at least back down to these lows, if not even lower. The thing that we really have to notice on this one is that on the daily, it didn't break any structure to the upside at all. So the trend has been down on the daily this whole time. So that probably is a wave A right here. It's probably an uptrend for an A. This is probably an A here. This is probably a B. This is probably the C. A, B, C, a B. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of C. 1. A, B, C up 2. Now we're probably in a 3, which is probably going to eventually look like this for a 3, 4, and 5 down. So pretty strong to the downside. I definitely would say that's not a correction anymore. Yeah, look at that. 1, 2, 3 waves up right there too. That's a 2. This is a 1. And now we're in a 3. This is probably a 1, 2. And then this is a 1, 2, 3 of 3. Probably just going to keep on trending down. Let's look at natural gas. Is that going down too? I was thinking that this was going to be a correction to the move up, but I don't know if I would really want to try sorting this thing, going long. On the higher time frames, it still does look like a 1, 2, 3, and it looks like it needs to go up to at least a 38% to make a 4 and then back down. So it still looks like it needs to go up on the daily, but just because we think it needs to go up definitely doesn't mean that it's going to go up. Yeah, it's kind of tricky because this is definitely an uptrend. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is probably a downtrend. I bet if this bounces out to 61.8, it's going to go up again. So I would still be looking at this move as possibly a correction to that move up. It still seems like it is. Yeah, I think this is like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 B, and now we're probably in a C. So if you see it bounce off one of these fib levels and then take out structure, I would definitely be going long for the continuation of that uptrend for sure. Yeah, we're going to have to switch back and look at those dollar pairs. I was watching the euro dollar on my second screen here because I'm still in a trade on that. So we're definitely going to have to go back and reevaluate and look at those dollar pairs again for sure. Bitcoin is going down too, I think, now. I'm starting to think that Bitcoin is in a wave B though. This looks like a trend. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is definitely a correction. I think it's very overlapping. I think it's going to go down to one of these two levels, make an A, B, C, a B, and then most likely head back up for the wave C. So I think Bitcoin is going to make another move up once it finishes this wave B, which it probably is going to go down to at least one of these two fibs. So we probably have a decent amount of downside potential left. And you can just look at the 4 hour and just see how overlapping this is. It does kind of resemble a 1, 2. And then what? Maybe this is the 3. Just trying to figure out where these patterns are. 3, 4. And then maybe this is the 5 of A. I don't know. It's really just an overlapping pattern. So really we just have to say it's just one big overlapping correction. I think it's just going to keep on doing that overlapping pattern until it bounces off one of these fibs to finish off a B and ends up continuing the uptrend. So that tells me I would definitely continue to look for sorts. I made my Bitcoin video earlier today, and I said that if it does bounce off a fib level, then that would probably make for a pretty good sort, which it definitely is. So if it does make any more pullbacks, another impulsive move down, I would definitely take that as a sorting opportunity for the continuation of this downtrend. So that's pretty good. I would definitely just continue to look for sorts on Bitcoin for sure. No doubt about that one. Yeah, it looks like that move on the dollar was just a scare tactic. Let's go look at the stock market before we switch back. I think that the dollar is doing exactly what it should be doing, honestly. I think it was just to scare people out. It was a little bit of a bull trap. Everybody that was long probably got out and tried to go short. Now everybody that was long wishes they probably stayed long. So daily time frame, I still think that this is also going up, at least to take out that high, and then I think it's going to go down. I think we're still in a wave B right now. I believe we had to go up to the weekly time frame to fully understand this, but I believe it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of A. I think it's an A, B, C, or B. I think it needs to go up and take out this high before it goes down and makes a wave C. I think it's going to go down to the 61.8 before it heads back up. So we have to keep an eye. Sometimes wave B's can go up a lot further too. Like this right here is clearly a wave B. This is an ABC right here for sure. And that wave B made a way higher high. So this very easily could just keep on jutting up and then eventually go down like that. And then make a very fast, quick movement down. And that would be the ABC correction. So it definitely doesn't have to stop at this high right here. It just seems like a likely place to see some resistance. It looks like a 1, it looks like an ABC of 2, and it looks like we're in a wave 3. So eventually it's probably going to finish off a 3, 4, 5 of C. This is the A, ABC of B, uptrend for the C. Eventually we'll get a break of structure, which will show us the wave C is over, and most likely the continuation of the downtrend. So let's head down to the 4-hour time frame. 4-hour time frame, I'm definitely looking for longs at the end of 3-way pullbacks. There was a beautiful long there. This right here was a nice long, 3 ways down. Even this right here, 3 ways down, 3 ways down. That right there is a bigger one, but that's definitely 3 ways. 3 ways there, 3 ways there, 3 ways there, 3 ways there. So if it makes another 3-way pattern down, another impulsive move up, that's going to be another entry to go long for the continuation of this uptrend. So going down to the 1-hour time frame. 1-hour time frame, I think we have a wave A. We have 3 ways up for a B, a C, and then we have a 1, 2, 3, probably. I bet this is already in a wave B. Look at that. I bet that's an A. I bet this is a B. If it goes down and makes a C and then turns back up, I think that's going to be the end of a correction and most likely the continuation of the uptrend. So definitely still looking for longs in an uptrend on this one for sure. So let me just check my chats real quick to see if there's any requests from my Patreon members before we move on. I do like to take requests from them first and foremost. So let me check there. Doesn't really seem like there's any request on that yet. So if anybody wants me to look at something, we'll take a few requests and then we'll switch back to the dollar pairs. And we'll see what's going on with that dollar. I still think the dollar is going to continue up, but like I said, I think it's going to be a correction, and I think it's going to go down. No problem, Alphonse Street. So, like I said, if anybody has any requests, put them in the chats, and I'll check them out. No problem. While we're waiting for that, if anybody has not joined my free Discord channel, check it out. It's 100% free to join. No obligations to pay a dime if you do not want to. Now also, I do have a trading course. I do members forecasts and a bunch of educational information for my Patreon members. So if you do want to join my Patreon, then the link for that is in the chat and the description also. And the Patreon membership does come with access to my trading course and a few other things. So yeah, we're going to check out gold. We already looked at the yen pairs. Yeah, we already did the dollar. We're going to look at the dollar pairs again. We already looked at the yen pairs, so I don't really want to look at things too many times. But if somebody has something they want me to look at that has not already been looked at, then definitely let me know. We already did all the yen pairs. We already did all the dollar pairs, but I always do look at the dollar pairs twice. So I guess we may as well just do that. Yeah, thanks a lot. No sense. Definitely join my Discord if you have not done so already. So we may as well look at these dollar pairs again, I guess. If you missed my yen analysis, you may have to go back and look at it. You can rewatch this live stream and watch my yen analysis also. But long story short on the yen, I'm definitely still looking for longs in an uptrend for sure. So yeah, let's see. Let's check out these dollar pairs again. May as well. So we are going up. We have not taken out structure yet, so we can't say for sure that this downtrend is over, but with how strong that is, it probably is over. And it's probably going to make something like this. Like I said, we have that big CPI news tomorrow, so I bet it's going to make a correction to this last move down, and then probably tomorrow's news will cause this to continue the downtrend. Euro dollar also made a pretty good dive. It definitely looks like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right here, so that definitely looks like a trend. So I really wouldn't be surprised if this one went down also, maybe over the next 24 hours before it went back up. But we are getting a little bit of a rejection right at the 78.6. So definitely check that out. Might even have to go down to a little bit of a shorter time frame on this one. Yeah, we definitely got a bounce right there. I guess I could picture that as 3 waves down. So if it does start to turn up, if it starts to make an engulfing move to the upside, I would definitely take that as a long opportunity for sure. Pound dollar, I definitely wouldn't try to go long on this right now. That definitely looks like an A. This is probably eventually going to make a B. Maybe not now. It could go down further and then make a B, and then go down again probably tomorrow and C, and then back up as at tomorrow's news. Aussie dollar is also going down. That's probably also a wave A. I don't think that these are just going to turn up automatically like that. They definitely could. It's more likely they're just going to make a correction until tomorrow, and then tomorrow at the news is when they'll turn up. The Kiwi is very weak. It has been weak. It broke structure to the downside, so it probably is a wave A. Probably eventually today it'll start drifting up for a B, and then probably down again tomorrow for a C. Probably right down to one of these Fibonacci levels. Maybe the 50% before we get that impulsive move up, break of structure, and the continuation of the uptrend. So, US dollar Swiss. Yeah, that was possibly the Swiss that did this, but probably a wave A. Probably eventually going to go down, make a B, up again for a C, and then back down again tomorrow, I believe. US dollar Swiss. Oh, that was the Canadian. I'm sorry, that's the Canadian. Actually, looking at that right there is definitely an uptrend. This is definitely 1 wave down, 3 waves up, and 1 wave down. That's probably a wave B. And that's probably a wave C. I bet that's just going to keep on going down once that current trend is over. Does that make sense on some of these other pairs too? Could that right there possibly be an A, and this is an irregular wave B, and this is a wave C? And then when it's over, it's just going to keep on trending? That could possibly be. It's kind of far-fetched on some of these other ones, but it definitely could be on that one. Look, the euro dollar is starting to go up again. That probably is 3 waves down. I don't know. Like I said, if it makes an engulfing candle and it starts to hold up, I would definitely go long again on that for sure. Hey, Trading Sock, how's it going? Yeah, that would actually make sense on this one too. We got an A, we got 3 waves down for a B, and then we got an uptrend for a C. Boy, that actually would make a lot of sense on this one too, actually, now that we look at it again. Yeah, in gold it definitely would make sense that this is an A and this is a B. whether this is a 1 right here or a wave A, which it definitely could be a wave A, or whether this is an ABC of 2, or whether it's an ABC of B, we really don't know. And honestly, if it starts to turn back up, then it doesn't matter whether it's a C or a 3, because either scenario, it is probably going to go up in a pretty big way. So it doesn't really matter too much of whether we know if it's a B or whether it's a 2. But it does look like things are trying to reverse again, doesn't it? Maybe we should look at the DXY. Does it make sense that this would be like an A, B, C? I could kind of picture that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of A. Kind of far-fetched, like I said, but 1, 2, 3 waves up. That definitely looks like a 3-wave pattern. Then 3 waves down, C. So A, B, C, or B, and then this is the C. That does make a lot of sense, honestly. So we'll have to see. Like I said, I'm sure whatever's happening now is definitely setting itself up for the news tomorrow. So it kind of doesn't really make sense that this would just continue the downtrend today, but it definitely could, especially if people do think that they already know what the news is going to be tomorrow. What are they forecasting it? They're forecasting that inflation's going to go down. They're saying that inflation's going to go from 4.9 down to 4.1. So if inflation doesn't go down, then that's going to be a surprise to the market. If inflation stays around, even if it stays around the 4.9, that will tell us that there's a good chance that on Wednesday that they will raise the rate one more time. I personally think that they're going to raise the rate to one more time. Let me clear that out because you can't even see that. I think they're going to raise it up another 25 points to 5.5. And then they're going to let that settle in for the summer, and then probably in the fall they're going to make another decision about whether they need to continue to raise rates or whether they can start actually lowering rates. Which hopefully inflation does get under control so they can start lowering rates back down. It was awfully nice when money was so cheap, that's for sure. It is nice now though that you can buy T-bills in the U.S. right now are paying 5.4%. So it's a good rate. If you have a little extra money, just put it in there. It's like free money, really, at this point. I did with a pretty good chunk of money. A couple of weeks ago, I bought a whole bunch of T-bills, and your rate is locked in, so it's not like your rate can change until they cash it out. So might not be a bad idea if you're sitting on some savings to throw it in T-bills, definitely. So let me check again, see if there's any requests. A pretty slow day today. Even on the requests, there's not really much going on. Kind of a slow day. We had some excitement this morning with this big push down. Then we had some excitement with this big push up. And now it's probably about done. Maybe it'll just kind of drift around for the rest of the day. I mean, it's only, It's only 10:18 in New York right now, so the stock market's open. The market's definitely open. So we have to be ready for a move because it is peak trading session right now for the New York stocks, and that will affect the dollar. Yeah. I think it's going to wait till tomorrow. It's going to make a correction for the rest of today, and then tomorrow it will most likely, I believe, the dollar will go down again. I think there's a good chance this is an ABC, though, and then it's going to break structure, and then it's going to go down like that. It definitely seems very, very clear that that is what it is. On the DXY, you can't see it, but on this one, you definitely can. One up, 3 waves down, one up. I bet that's an ABC, and I bet tomorrow it's going to go down again. So we definitely want to keep an eye on that. Now tomorrow's news is at 1:30. So I may do a quick live stream for the news, maybe like a 30-minute live stream for the news tomorrow, so definitely check that out. Definitely join my free Discord channel because you can also get updates about when I'm live streaming on Discord. And you can also interact with other traders. There's 3,400 traders in the group now, so definitely check that out. And definitely like and subscribe to my channel. It makes a huge difference to push out my live streams and my videos out to new members. So definitely check that out also. And since there's no more requests, and we've looked at all the dollar pairs, all the yen pairs, we looked at oil, natural gas, we looked at the Bitcoin, we looked at the S&P 500, and we looked at the dollar pairs again. So if you missed it, you can definitely rewatch this video, but I think that's it for me today. It is Monday, so definitely sometimes Mondays are a little bit slow, but honestly, with a week like this, with the amount of news we got coming out this week, it's probably going to be a busy week. So definitely prepare, definitely use proper risk management. That's the key word this week, risk management. Make sure you use your risk management because it's going to be a pretty volatile week. So make sure every trade you enter, you know your risk before you enter the trade. So that way you can live to trade another day. So anyways, I hope everybody enjoys the rest of the day, and as always, happy trading.